What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be discussing the likelihood that Charles Kelly will continue to be the DC for the Colorado Buffs after an abysmal game against Stanford, blowing a 29-point lead in the first half, going into half with a 29-point lead, and having just not the greatest defensive outings for the first couple of games. You kind of scratch your head, go, man, if we maybe had a little bit of a defensive scheme better, could that USC game been a little more competitive, right? So a lot of question marks here, and Coach Prime was asked about this. I've asked about the heat that Charles Kelly would be and will be receiving. And obviously, he had a lot to say about that, which will be shown in a minute, but don't go anywhere because afterwards, we're going to talk about the past of Charles Kelly in his past as a defensive coordinator and possibly some concerns to be worried if Charles Kelly were to continue to be the DC for the Colorado Buffs. Again, Coach Prime went out and picked Charles Kelly for a reason, and we're going to get into those things. But it's at some point, something's got to break, and we're going to get into that. Take a look at the interview first.
Again, along the same line, some of the substitution things, the penalties. You've defended Coach Kelly at every turn.
Yeah.
This is one where now people are going to start pointing fingers, and you said, you know.
Well, if you're going to point the fingers, point it at me, because if I'm allowing it, it should be on me, not him. Point it on me. We go over this stuff. And there are times where you know what group is in, you know what group you're on, but you have a lapse of understanding in those crucial moments. Right now, we're not built for the moment. We're not built for the moment. Some of our players aren't built for the moment where they have to make a play or they have to keep contained or they have to make a block or they have to get another yard. We're not built for the moment right now.
Again, the biggest takeaway is he's shouldering the blame from Charles Kelly, as a head coach should. In front of everybody, he's going to take the heat. And I'm sure if you ask Charles Kelly, he's going to take the heat. I'd expect that from both of them. They're professionals. That's what you should expect. And I'm glad that's how it was handled. He then went on to say, look, we're not ready. Meaning the team is not built for this moment. And this is a little bit of the downfall of having so many guys in the transfer portal. I think the transfer portal has been great. It has been fantastic on getting off to a hot start. But in moments like this, when you're trying not to be lethargic and you need to come out and stay competitive and stay hungry, you lose that bond amongst everybody when you have a transfer portal class. Again, this is not a concern. This is not a shot. This is not negative. It's just part of the game. I would be excited, though, for year two. You're going to have a recruiting class coming in, and you're also going to see some more guys coming from the transfer portal, but you're going to have a nice, healthy base on both sides of the ball that you can continue to build from. Right now, they haven't had that, and so they've done extremely well for what they've been able to do to bring in damn near 80% of their class from the portal. These are some of the issues that you're going to come across and come upon with a young team, again, and a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Offensively, they have the benefit of the doubt to have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders to already having a chemistry, which helps with that offense syncing up and being clicked up when you have somebody like a Shedeur Sanders that's your general on the football field. Somebody, again, who's light years beyond most of the guys on that team, can carry an offense. As of now, Travis Hunter can't just do that single-handedly on the defense, and they don't have kind of a 1-2 punch bringing that chemistry like they do on the offense to be able to elevate that defense in moments of need. So those things are all understandable, and I think that's where we're going to see Coach Prime lean on for quite some time and be patient with Charles Kelly, and I think he should. It's still extremely too soon. He brought Charles Kelly in for a reason, and for those reasons is his ability to recruit. The man can recruit like a madman. He recruited like an absolute dog at Alabama, was a top recruiter while he was over there, and has recruited well thus far while being at Colorado. But his ability to be an actual defensive coordinator, his track record is not as great. At FSU, he took over as defensive coordinator from 2014 to 2017. I'm going to pull up some graphs here and take a look at just the alarming difference from when he was not the DC to when he became the DC at Florida State. So these stats right here that I'm showing you from 2010 to 2013, and mind you, that 2013 season, FSU won a national championship. Charles Kelly was a part of the defense, but he was not the defensive coordinator. Again, helped recruit with that class, and as you can see, it paid off, winning them a national championship. Then he took over duties from 2014 to 2017, and you could see the massive change in what influx. The average before Kelly took over of points per game was 15.4. Once he took over, it flipped all the way to 23, almost 10-point influx of points per game. Yards per carry went almost double what it was, and passer rating went from 106 to 120. Again, a lot of holes in this defense. And you got to think, again, this was coming off a national championship. So maybe year one, you got some guys that'll leave. You expect some attrition. That's going to happen. But you should expect a massive recruiting haul. Just winning a national championship, you're on top of the world. You're a big brand like FSU. You should be able to capitalize on that, and he was unable to do that. So these things, as if you're a Buffs fan looking at this has to concern you a little bit because, again, his his track record was not the greatest while at FSU. But again, I believe we have to trust in Coach Prime and his ability to assess talent. His offensive coordinator who brought in from Kent State has done a phenomenal job, and I think it was a phenomenal pickup. So I wouldn't panic just yet. I think things will get aligned. You've got Coach Prime, who obviously is a defensive mind guy, who will probably righten this ship a little bit. Again, a very young team. He blamed a lot on the secondary. He was very frustrated with the secondary. We'll have another video coming out shortly where he got into it with one of the cornerbacks during the game. They got a little hostile. In a game like that, you kind of sometimes expect those kind of things. But we'll talk about that in the other video. But again, not saying panic just yet. Just kind of putting it out there in a sense to keep an eye out for this because Charles Kelly, again, does not have a great track record, but I trust Prime to keep it locked in. But I also know Prime is here to make an impact. He is here to win. He's not going to play with this too much longer. Currently, they are ranked 120th in defense, sitting behind Colorado State, sitting behind Arkansas State, sitting behind Massachusetts, sitting behind South Florida, sitting behind Western Kentucky and North Texas. It's 129, which is just unexcusable for what Colorado can be, and I know what Coach Prime wants them to be. Should be much higher than what they currently are, and I expect things for the next 2 weeks to crank up extremely hot in Boulder. I know it's cooling down there temperature-wise, but I don't think those boys are going to be needing any hoodies for the next few weeks over there in Boulder, Colorado. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.